This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Hey guys, Big Paul here. Today we are going to talk about when to escalate steroid doses. I think people get themselves all twisted up on knots on this and they do all kinds of stupid shit that makes no sense whatsoever when it comes to pushing up steroid doses. You can see I'm decked out in my Washington Commanders gear. Side note here. The Carson Wentz era started off with a win. So I'll probably look back in this in the future and laugh at myself because I know it's going to end horribly, as everything does when you're a Washington football fan. But anyway, we're going to talk about when to escalate doses today in just 1 second. So dosing steroid cycles and when to push up doses is one of the biggest things I see guys fuck up all the time. They do everything absolutely wrong and they end up just having a shit ton of bad side effects for no additional benefit. So I like to slowly escalate my doses over a course of a 16 to 20 week cycle. And I think that makes the most sense, and it minimizes the amount of side effects that you're going to experience while on cycle. So when you come out of the gate, I see a lot of dudes do stupid shit like front loading with something like D-ball or taking a large dose right out of the gate, thinking that they're going to somehow get more out of it, taking that large dose out of the gate. And all you end up doing is just having more DHT and estrogen conversion and just end up with a bunch of nasty side effects with water retention, high blood pressure, estrogen conversion, just all kinds of horrible stuff. And the whole thing, like the old school philosophy of front loading with D-ball is just butt stupid. Unless you want to case a gyno and bloat and push your blood pressure up through the roof where you're bleeding out your eyeballs when you're doing deadlifts. You know, if that's what you want, fucking go for it. But it's just a stupid way of doing things. Why not get the most out of the least? I think that's what makes the most sense. So usually the way I do my cycles is I break them down into a 16 to 20 week course. And during that course, I will escalate the dose as needed. So usually I don't come right out of the gate. I'll just start off with a moderate, mild dose and then just slowly ratchet up. If you go back and look at my vlogs from my contest prep, I think I started off with something like 500 milligrams total. And then over a 16-week course, I escalated up to almost 2 grams. And I got great results out of it. And at the end of my prep, my blood work was the best I think that it's ever been after prep. It's actually worse now than it was during prep, ironically. But, that's a side note. It's because I've been eating like shit. But anyway, so that to me makes the most sense. Now, how much gear and when to take more gear, that depends on your experience and what your goals are. So if you're a brand new bodybuilder, you weigh 160 pounds and you're trying to work your way up to 240, I see guys do this all the time. Why would you come out of the gate and take 2 grams of gear? That makes no fucking sense to me. It would be like putting 400 pounds on the bench press and trying to press it when you weigh 160 pounds. You're going to get nothing out of it except hurting yourself. So you slowly work the doses up over a period of time. It's progressive overload, just like it would be with your weights, with your diet. You progressively increase as you get stronger, get bigger, and as you're trying to push. So if you're at 160 and you want to get up to 240, you start out the gate with 2 grams of gear. What are you going to do it when you're at 220 trying to push to 240? Take 10? I mean, that makes no sense. And there is a curve with gear too that and I've talked about it before. There is a curve where you have benefits versus side effects. So as you push doses up, there is a maximum optimal dose. And then once you pass that maximum optimal dose, the curve starts bending back down where you just get more side effects and less positive effects. Each compound is different. I'm not going to go into detail, but each one. But, for example, something like testosterone, I found somewhere between 750 milligrams and a gram is about the most I can push it before things start bending backwards for me. Some guys I know can go higher. Some guys can barely take testosterone at all. So it's different with different compounds. So everything's different. You sort of have to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But don't come out of the gate throwing the kitchen sink at it. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And it also depends on your goals, too. If you're just a gym bro trying to look good for the beach, why take 2 grams of gear? There's no really additional benefit to it. Especially if you don't have your diet buttoned up, you're not training properly, it doesn't really matter. Now, if you're a competitor, then there might be a reason to roll the dice. If you're trying to win a national competition and get your pro card, then yeah, you push the gas pedal down and you take some chances. Bodybuilding is an extreme sport, and sometimes you have to roll the dice to progress. But you take calculated risk. I'm a proponent of using the least effective dose possible to get the maximum results. Finding that sweet spot for you and slowly ratcheting it up over time. And you get the most out of it that way, and you protect your health better. If you can do this over... Bodybuilding is a long game. You got to play the long game with bodybuilding. You can't accumulate. I get guys come to me all the time that want to put on 20 pounds of muscle in a 12-week course, and it just doesn't happen that way. Does not happen that way. It's a game of inches. You have to eke out gains over a period of many, many years. It's just the way it is. And if you're taking toxic compounds in huge doses right out of the gate, you're not going to last long enough to actually see those gains. So slowly ratchet up your cycles when you're doing them over a 16 to 20 week period of time. When you get, when to max out your doses depends on your skill level, how long you've been lifting, what your goals are, where you're at. So if you're a pro, certainly it's going to take more than it would be if you're just trying to get ripped for the beach. That is a different and completely separate goal that you're in, and there's going to be a different prescription for that than there would be for something like trying to compete in the Mr. Olympia contest. So don't try to emulate what other guys are doing. Figure out what works for you and use the least amount possible to get the maximum effect. All right, guys, hopefully you found this effect helpful. That's all I've got for you today. Take care. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.